Very happy as always to be joined in our Diamondback broadcast booth by D-back Hall of Famer Randy Johnson, who is worldwide. You just came back from Japan. You've got a European trip coming up next, and you found time to join us here
Business has been a little
tonight.
pleasure, yeah. Business with the Diamondbacks. We went over to Japan and did some goodwill baseball clinics, watched some baseball over there. Got back last Sunday, and now I'm going to go on a little bit of a photography expedition in Europe now.
Were you going anywhere special?
Well, you're going to have to follow me on Instagram.
Nice.
Yes. I recently got on Instagram for the sole purpose of sharing my photographs and some of the experiences that I have. So if you want to follow me, it's RJ51 Photos. And what people have seen so far up to this point is my induction into the Hall of Fame through pictures and some of some random things here and there. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Colton Wong grounds out. Open up the third.
A few random pictures here and there on the road with Rush as I was photographing them when they were on tour. And then recently, most recently, our trip over to Japan. Doing some baseball clinics for Little League kids over there. And then also some sightseeing and little things like that. But everything is based through no words, but just all pictures.
Yeah. Instagram, I'm on there. It's a great service, a great place to store your photos, and people can see them.
Exactly. Well, I think that's really what photography is all about, sharing my photographs. And I think behind the scenes is kind of interesting as well. So
I want to get into the print and what we have time to talk about that. But while you mentioned Japan, what was that like for you? Because you probably noticed you're a little taller than most people over there.
You know what?
Did that come up at all?
We were doing a group interview. And this is one of my shots that I posted on Instagram right here. But we were doing an interview, and outside of the building that we went into, I saw a advertisement in the window for Big and Tall. So I had to go in there. I mean, I had to go see what Big and Tall was.
Did you find anything
in relation to Japanese people?
Sure.
And I went in there, and first of all, the fashion is not quite what I would be wearing proudly anywhere. But more importantly, if I would have lost my suitcase, I just would have been out of luck. And I mean that no disrespect. I love Japan. It's the one place that I've traveled probably 10 or 11 times. And
wow, that often, huh?
I just really enjoy it. Yeah, it's a wonderful place. And I stayed actually 2 days longer than Derek Hall and Gonzo and Tony La Russa. They had left on Friday. I stayed until Sunday, and I had my camera, and I had a couple of things set up to do some photography things there. So
there's Brandon Moss, the Cardinal left fielder, with a full count 3-2.
In the course of the clinics that you had for the kids over there in Japan, did you happen to find any 6'10" lefties?
No. I don't think there was anybody on the island in Japan other than myself that was 6'10". But it was very. Like I said, I've traveled to Japan on numerous occasions. And the first place that we went when we flew into Japan, we hopped on another plane when we landed in Tokyo, and then we went to Hiroshima, because it can be pronounced two different ways. And we went to the Peace Museum there, which was really enlightening because it's the 70th anniversary, if you will, for the atom bomb. And so we went into the museum there, so that was really interesting to gain knowledge of that and see it firsthand. And then we also went at a later date. We traveled up north in a small remote area up towards Sendai, where the tsunami did a lot of its damage, and that's where we did some of the baseball clinics there for a lot of the young kids that played Little League up there. So I would do something with the pitchers. Gonzo worked with the hitters, and Tony La Russa worked with the infielders. So I just found the two areas that I went, I'd never been before, and I just found that along with watching baseball games, which was fun, it was also rewarding from a historical standpoint, and a very gratifying moments as well to share time with young kids that were stricken by hardship, that some may have been directly affected by losing their homes or family members. And I just thought that it was really a great moment to be there.
There's Tony Cruz, the catcher, after the walk to Moss. I know since your first USO tour about 5 years ago, you've been I believe it's 40 different USO events all over the world, and part of the effort tonight in our broadcast fundraiser goes to help the USO. Can you tell fans about that?
Well, I didn't have a lot of time outside of baseball to do a lot of things such as the USO activity that I've really gotten into since I retired. So the moment that I retired, and we got a balk there.
Yeah, Ruby De La Rosa balks Moss to second.
So when I retired in 2009, I told the USO and a gentleman that is affiliated with the USO that had asked me if I wanted to go. I said yes. The moment I retire, you can ask me, and I will pack my bags and I will go anywhere and as often as you want me to. So the moment that I retired, my first tour I went on a USO tour was to Iraq and Kuwait City. And from that point on, 2010, I believe, and I don't remember now because it just so meshed together, I've been on at least 8 or 9 tours. At some times, I've gone on 2 tours in a year. Most recently, I was at the DMZ. I flew into Seoul, South Korea. Then I went into where North and South Korea butt up right there. Wow. And then I've also been into Afghanistan and Cuba, Guantanamo Bay, and just some really moving places where our young men and women in service are active.
There's some great shots here.
But it's one of the most rewarding things that's the DMZ right there. That's called the Bridge of No Return. And jokingly, and you don't joke too much when you're on these tours, especially when you're at the border of North Korea, but jokingly, the Marines there, I said, what would happen if I walked over that bridge? And it's just a vast wasteland. Beyond that bridge, there was a canal, a gully. And I said, what would happen if I just, seemingly walked from
strolled into North Korea?
Yeah, exactly. And they said, well, first of all, we're being watched right now from these towers, and they're probably hearing what we're saying right now. And if you got beyond and you didn't blow up from a landmine, you would probably be quickly apprehended. Depending, this is the bridge right there. You could be shot. Obviously, you're going to be captured, but depending upon the mood of that soldier that captures you, all depends on what's going to happen to you. So I've gone to some much more laid-back areas where it's much more family-oriented, like in Okinawa, and then I've gone to some real hostile areas where I was in.
A little pop-up to shallow right field, but Aaron Hill collects for the second.
And then I've been on a Joint Chief of Staff tour, which is the biggest USO tour I've gone on, and that was for 10 days, and we went to about 4 different locations. We flew out of Virginia.
You and the Joint Chiefs?
Yes, I flew. His name was Admiral James Winnefeld. He's a 4-star general. He was the commanding officer of the USS Enterprise when it was still active. And it was still active when I went, so we actually flew on a COD plane and landed on the USS Enterprise, which I found, which was an unbelievable experience. And then he actually re-enlisted some soldiers on the USS Enterprise, and that was extremely exciting. Then we got on a C-4, and we flew into Afghanistan. And now we're amongst the men and women that serve our country that are actively on duty and in a hostile area. And that is, they're on alert all the time, and you get goosebumps there more so than, say, Okinawa, where it's family oriented. First of all, the USO will not bring people that are coming to visit the men and women that are serving our country in hostile areas. I mean, you can never predict anything, but if there's activity going on there, they're not going to bring you in there. And it's just it's life-changing when you see these young men and women that are serving our country, and they're not much older than my oldest child. So all you can do is obviously say how much you appreciate it, and they're not drafted. These people want to do this, and that's the thing that I just am so honored that we have men and women that are willing to do this and put their lives on the line.
Well, the money we've raised tonight, and I'm told it's now over $126,000, so we've already, Diamondback fans, surpassed our total from last year, goes to benefit the USO and all the great work that they do along with Randy Johnson and the D-backs Chase Your Dreams program. As That's the final out of the inning. Now we are running out of these prints, fans. We've only got 300 left, so hurry up. dbacks.com/giveback. We'll talk to Randy about these limited edition prints. They're going fast. Only 300 left. Back after this.